Now, I haven't been doing as many transfer stuff recently because, to be honest, you guys haven't been enjoying it too much and the news hasn't actually been that great. But today, we have probably the biggest transfer day of news for like a few different players ever. I'm not even joking you. Now, what's crazy about this, okay, is that these players are some of the biggest players in the world. That's why today's episode is massive. That is why, literally. Now, I'd greatly appreciate if you could support the transfer series with a like. It costs nothing to you lot. Drop a like and a thumbs up down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Now, it's time to move into the first player, and it is a big one. It is a big one. Now, today we've got Coutinho to Barcelona. Now, this one is heated up this week, and it's been, to be honest, it's been pretty big for a few days now, but today is taking a really big turn. That's why I'm making this episode today. So this morning, Liverpool released a statement saying that this guy is going nowhere. He's not for sale under any circumstances, any price. He is not going. No joke. 2 or 3 hours later, he's put out a transfer request. That's right. He's emailed Liverpool saying he wants to move, okay? He wants to move to Barcelona. Now, apparently 49 minutes ago, Liverpool actually reject Coutinho's transfer request after Barcelona bids. But let's be honest, boys, you can't keep a player that wants to go. You can't keep a player who wants to leave. There is no point in that happening. He's not going to play well, is he? His head's not going to be in the right place. There's no point. That means basically, if he's going to push for the move, it's going to happen. Liverpool have rejected Philippe Coutinho's, how do you pronounce that? I don't know. Transfer request after he told them of his desire to move to Barcelona. Sky sources understand. Now, the player's transfer request came hours after the club's owners, Fenway Sports Group, released a statement saying no offers will be considered for Coutinho this summer. Now, Sky Sports News actually understand so far, Liverpool have so far rejected 2 bids from Barcelona for the Brazilian international, with the latest one worth up to £90 million. Now, it is understood that Barcelona are prepared to pay up to £110 million for Coutinho, which is absolutely insane, who signed a new 5.5-year deal, a contract at Liverpool in January. Now, this is absolutely crazy and absolutely insane. We've got one guy now who obviously saying, you know, obviously I want to leave or whatever, Barcelona's come in for me, I do want to go. We've got the owners saying he's going nowhere. We've got the manager of the club saying he's going nowhere, should I say. Can't keep a player that wants to go. Philippe Coutinho to Barcelona. Is this going to happen within a few days? Right before the season starts as well. Not a good time for Liverpool, is it? Now, the second biggest story of the day is actually Zlatan Ibrahimovic is actually in talks to re-sign with Manchester United. That's right, Jose Mourinho confirmed it today. I nearly said his second name wrong there. Manchester United are in talks to re-sign striker Ibrahimovic for the second half of the season, says manager Jose Mourinho. Now, Ibrahimovic, 35, was released in June after not being offered a new contract following a season-ending knee injury. Now, the former Swede international has been recovering from surgery at United's training ground and is expected to be fit again, basically, for December. Now, Mourinho came out and said today he wants more at the highest level of football, okay? He wants more. So we are having conversations and we are discussing the possibility of him staying with us for a second part of the season. This is what Mourinho said today. He also added he's injured, he needs time to recover. He was very clear by showing that what he did last year was not enough for him. He thinks he can do more. So regardless of him already having a good season in the Prem, or regardless of him getting injury, you know, he wants to stay. He wants to play in the second half in the Prem next year and prove once again that he can do it at 35 years of age at the top highest level. Now, I've got to be honest, you know, if Ibra obviously signs to United are going to be a serious force next year. Lots of new players, lots of big players. Obviously, getting Ibrahimovic to sign a new contract is almost as good as a brand new signing, to be fair. So that they are in for a good season if they can get him to get pen to paper. They are in for a seriously good season. Obviously, they've got Lukaku up there too. Rashford's coming along. It's looking decent if you're a Man United fan. It is looking decent. Now, it's not looking decent if you are a Liverpool fan, of course. We've talked about it. We've talked about Coutinho leaving. Now, what else is going to happen with Liverpool? Well, you're supposed to be signing someone, so I suppose that's a bit of positive news. It's actually Van Dijk. Now, this guy's handed in transfer request this week as well. Well, yesterday, I believe. So, Liverpool are favourites to land him, favourites to sign him. Apparently, the fee is going to be around somewhere like £50 million, which is obviously really big money. That'll make him one of the most expensive centre-backs ever, won't it? So, out of 3 players who featured so far, 2 of them have handed in transfer requests, and both involve Liverpool slightly, which is interesting. Now, Sky Sports News understand that Chelsea and Man City are also interested in a defender who signed a new long-term contract last year. So, Liverpool are going to have rivals coming from all other, well, loads of big clubs, basically. Now, Pellegrino actually came out and said, my reaction is the same, but I said 3 weeks ago, we are expecting him to come back to train with us because we need the player. Hopefully, he can change his point of view because he is an important player to us. We need him to focus on the club. But the situation is very clear. He's very unhappy. He's been fined a couple of weeks' wages as well, I think last couple of weeks ago. So he's not very happy with the club for that anyway. Now, Southampton face Swansea in their Premier League Open on Saturday. today, but Pellegrino, who will oversee his first game in the English top flight, will not be able to call up Van Dijk, of course, as he's not even been training with the first team. So the situation not too great for them, to be fair. Not too great for Southampton. I mean, if they get £50 million for him, that's not bad. That's good money, but they want the player, so I don't think they're too bothered about the money. They really, really want him to stay. They think he's a part of the club, future, etc., etc. Liverpool may need this guy, though. I mean, he's not a good replacement for Coutinho, is he? He's not like-for-like player, but he's still a very solid centre-half, and Liverpool do concede a lot of goals. Now, do you want to know who else actually come out and spoke to The Sun yesterday and caused basically a massive uproar? Danny Rose, right? He did an interview where he basically said he doesn't earn enough at Spurs. Yeah, he might have to move eventually. So today, Danny Rose actually apologised for his recent comments about the club's transfer policy. He has said sorry, and Pochettino has accepted that. The left-back 27 said in The Sun on Thursday that he felt he and his teammates are underpaid and that Spurs need to sign well-known players and not ones you had to Google. That's right. He came out and said that about his own club, right? He said that, you know, he wants Spurs to sign players that he doesn't have to Google. He wants to sign big, well-known players. He said that all the Spurs players are underpaid compared to their other teammates in national teams, which has now struck the rumour that Man United are going to come in and swoop for him. The 27-year-old apparently wants to leave as well, but that wasn't said in an interview. Rose has obviously said that the timing and the manner of the comments was ill-judged. Obviously, a few days before the Premier League starts. It's not the sort of stuff you want in your training camp. So the situation is obviously very, very sticky for Danny Rose. He's come out. I mean, his manager has apologised. Oh, well, no, his manager has accepted his apology, which is good. And, mate, I've got the Arsenal game in the background. Lacazette scored already on his Premier League debut. I mean, I'm watching this in the background as I'm making this video. This video is going to go live after the game. Lacazette with a good header past, obviously, Schmeichel. I'm not really supposed to be talking about that. I'm supposed to be talking about transfers. Danny Rose to Man United. Will it happen? Now, talking of Arsenal, okay, we've got a player next to actually was supposed to go to Arsenal like a season or two ago, but they refused to pay the £40 million fee for him. Now it looks like he's going to West Ham, so it's gone down the pecking order a little bit, I suppose. So William Carvalho was supposed to go to Arsenal last year. Loads of clubs were interested in him. Man United were also interested in him. £40 million. No one really agreed with that valuation, and since then, yeah, I don't think the big clubs have come in for him. West Ham have come in for him. It looks like he's going to West Ham, but of course, that's not quite top four that he was probably expecting. West Ham have moved a step closer to landing Tottenham targets. Apparently, Tottenham want him as well. William Carvalho, after the club reached a verbal agreement with the player. So it's, you know, verbally a done deal. So yeah, of course, William Carvalho, verbal agreement. They reckon it's £30 million, not quite the fee that they were holding out for last season. Still good money though for him. Last but not least, we've got the one and only Ross Barkley, right? Now this guy is, of course, not in Everton's good books in a minute, but he's in Tottenham's good books. Could be going to Tottenham, it looks like. Obviously, they may lose Rose, and may not get Carvalho, but they look like they're going to get Ross Barkley, basically. Now, Koeman actually said that Everton will hold out for £30 million for Ross Barkley. This comes from the manager, right? So that's big stuff. Now, apparently, Everton haven't received any bids for Ross Barkley so far. Leicester just equalised 1-1. This is a bit of a nutty game. Welcome back to the Premier League. I'm getting a bit distracted. Now, Koeman actually said we will not let him go for cheap, of course. Now, that's obvious. No club lets any player go for cheap. But will Tottenham pay the full valuation that Everton are holding out for? Will they get it? Because if they don't, and they're not prepared to, no other club's prepared to, what's going to happen? Is he going to have to stay there and play? Is he going to have to stay there and be on the bench? I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this transfer video, please, please, please drop a like and a thumbs up down below. Greatly appreciated. 3,000 likes tonight by midnight, and I don't know, reaction video on KSI's diss track. Is it going to happen? Just briefly, then I'm going to go through the players as they are and give my final thoughts and opinions on them. So, Philippe Coutinho to Barcelona. Now, this is one that's been happening for a year or two, but this week, today, it's happened massively. He's handing a transfer request. Liverpool have rejected it, but they can't keep a player who wants to go. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now, he wants to stay at Man United. He wants to prove it again that he can do it. It's going to have to be the second half of the season, but it's like a brand new signing for United. They can get him to sign pen to paper. Then we've got Virgil van Dijk. Of course, handed in a transfer request, wants to leave Southampton. Liverpool being the biggest target for him, or the biggest target for the club, however you want to say it. If they can get him, that would be a great, great signing, but losing Coutinho is still, I don't know how they're going to replace him. I really don't. Danny Rose to Man United. Now, I don't think he was going to leave until these comments were going to, like, basically happen, so bad timing from him. Really, really, really bad timing from him. Then we've got, of course, William Carvalho to West Ham, not going to the big clubs he thought he was going to last year. Obviously, Arsenal, obviously, Tottenham and stuff. He's gone gone to West Ham. Still a good signing for him, though. Still a good signing for West Ham. Then we got Ross Barkley, arguably, you know, brilliant player. Of course, on his day, English talent. And yeah, he doesn't want to be at Everton anymore. That's what it looks like. He's not signing a new deal. And literally like that, as I've just finished making this video, I've just come to the end of it, of course, recording. Leicester have just got a winner. Well, not a winner. They're 2-1 up now. So, Arsenal fans, is it another season like before? Is it another one? Is it another Wenger out year on the Twitter? Also, guys, I'm going to be dropping some Sunday League football, I believe, this weekend. Something I haven't done for months. So, please look out for that. Obviously, it takes a while and not the easiest sort of video to make, but something I want to look. That's something I want to bring you anyway. Is there anything I can do to finish and finalize these transfer videos? Is there anything I can do to make these better? I'll also obviously read your comments, and I much appreciate obviously your replies, because like I say, it's been a bit dry recently with the news. It's been a bit dry recently with the videos, of course. Everyone just wants to see some sort of like Sidemen related drama video. Everyone just wants to see that in a minute. No one's caring about the transfers, but now the Prem's back, hopefully the interest, you know, is more. But anyway, guys, hopefully have a good weekend. Take it easy. I'll see you all. Well, I think I've got uploads all weekend, to be fair. So see you then. Peace.